Hello, thank you for tuning into my channel. We're learning how to hide our quilting threads today. So if you want to learn how to do that, please stay tuned. So I have my purple quilt here, and if you've been following my channel, there are a ton of videos related to this quilt. I have pieced it, I have quilt sandwiched it, I've quilted it, I purchased a 108 backing, and so I have a nice backing that I didn't have to piece. I made binding out of the leftover strips from the quilt top, and it's completely quilted now. So, and it has a label. So at the end of the quilt, I'm finally like, I can breathe. But then I look down at the quilt and I have pieces that look like this. These are the leftover threads that are hanging, that are still on the surface of the quilt or on the back of the quilt. And so for today, I'm going to show you how I hide them. There are several different ways to do this, but I'm just going to show you what I do. And hopefully it'll help you when it's time to hide the threads in your quilt. So I have to head over to the table and show you, we'll go over what you need to complete it, and then I'll actually do a couple on camera for you so you can see it, and then I'll show you the small section of it after I've hidden all the threads. I've cleared off my table here. I put my machine down on the floor so that I could work on this today, but usually I can I work on it like while I'm watching TV or something like that. Especially if I'm just working, like today I'm working on like the border of the quilt, so I don't need a big space. If I was working on the center of the quilt, I think it would be more important to have it spread out, because you want to make sure that you're only dealing with one layer of the quilt. You don't want to have two folded pieces together while you're doing this. But like I said, usually I do it, I tuck the threads while I'm watching TV. So I'm sitting on the sofa or sitting on the floor or something like that. You don't really have to have a big surface. The equipment that you need to do this, there's an optional thing that you could get. You could get what they call self-threading needles. And instead of like our normal hand sewing needles that have like a hole at the top, the self-threading needle, it doesn't have the cover, so it has like it looks like this at the top, and you can just slide the thread in. But I'm just using a regular sewing needle. It's really tiny, probably an inch and a half long, that I'm going to be using for this. I also have a pair of snips or a pair of scissors. And then the last thing that I'm going to use is a needle threader. And I like this one. I think that I got this little needle threader from like from a kit where you know, learn to sew and everything comes in the kit, or like a cleaning kit or a maintenance, something like that, and it comes with a little magnifying glass and the needle threader. So I'll go over how you use both of those together. There are lots of needle threaders that you can get whatever works best for you, but I like this one because it does magnify as I'm working. Now I'm going to show you how I do this, and I'm actually going to really zoom in close and put the camera in front of me so that you can see what I'm doing. So let me flip the camera now and I'll show you how it works. Okay, so here's take 2. I lost the footage from the first one. I wasn't able to get it as clear as I would like. I've moved the camera so that it's in front of me so that I know that you can see what I'm doing. I am going to start with, let's see, I'm going to use this one, this thread. This is actually 2 threads that are together. Usually when I start stitching, I pull the bottom thread up, but then when I stop at the end, I only have the 1 thread. So if you only have the 1 thread, like this one here, you have to go to the back and pull the other one up. So let's get started. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I have my needle threader here. Can you see it? There it is. And then I have the magnifying glass and then my needle. I had to swap out for a slightly longer needle because I can't find the other one, but that's okay. So I'm going to start with these two threads together. I hope you can see this. Okay, so I'm going to take my magnifying glass, and you can see that it really does magnify. And I have my magnifying glass between my thumb and my first finger, and then I'm going to put the needle threader between my first and second fingers. And so what I'm looking for is for the needle threader to be behind the magnifying glass. Then, and I'm just turning it now so you can see the opening there. Make sure you can see it. There it is. Okay, and then I'll take the needle and I'm just going to put the needle threader through that little eye of the needle. And my depth perception is a little off because I'm further away than I normally would be. So, where is it? Okay, so I have it. I have the needle threader on, and you can see that the needle is just hanging there now. Okay, I'm going to take my two threads that I'm working with, and I'm going to put them through the needle threader. And again, I'm further away than I normally would be because of the camera, so it's a little bit harder for me to see it, but it's not, when I'm closer, it's not as bad. Okay, so now let me see if I can move the magnifying glass. The needle is, the thread is through the hole in the needle threader. Then I'm just going to pull the needle off of the needle threader, and my threads should be inside. Actually, one of the threads didn't make it in, and that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and push this one through, and then I'll push the other one through. Okay, so you just have to decide where you're going to place your thread, and I'm going to go down, and I'm going to push the needle in between the layers of fabric. There, you saw it poke out, but then I pushed it back in there. And then pull it out, and then I pulled the rest of the thread through, and then took the needle off of it. Then I'm going to take my snips and cut close to the quilt. And then if you feel like the thread is poking out a little bit, you just rub your finger over it and it'll disappear. Okay, let's try that again with another piece. I went and got a light, so hopefully you can see it a little bit better here. So let's try that again. I have my magnifying glass between my thumb and first finger, needle threader between my first and second finger here. So you can see that. Can you see that? Okay, there it is. And then you take the needle and you basically thread the needle with the needle threader. There we go. Much easier that time. And you can see that the needle is hanging there. Get whatever thread you're getting, put it through the needle threader, and then pull it through. Okay? And then you'll take your thread, decide where you're going to place it in between the layers of the quilt, not coming through the bottom, and pull through, and then snip that point away. Okay, and so now we have this section here. I'm going to finish up the section, and then I'll show you what it looks like all nice and neat. Okay, before I finish this up, I wanted to give you an example of what to do if your thread is shorter than your needle. So if I tried to do this piece here, I can't even get it. This piece here with the needle, it would not, I wouldn't be able to thread it because they're so close to the same size. So for this piece, I'm actually going to insert the needle between the layers first. Okay. Then use the needle threader here. And same process, except this time the needle is already in between the layers. Okay. And so, oh wait, take the needle threader out and you can see that the thread is now inside the eye of the needle. And then pull through. And then for this time I only have a little tiny bit to snip off. Okay. So, wait. That didn't take. Okay. So now I'm going to finish up. Let's see. I'll finish up a little bit of this. And then I'll show you what it looks like all nice and neat. So I have it finished. You can see that now, instead of looking like a hot thready mess, it is all nice and neat. And I actually went ahead and went all the way up the edge of the border from what you can see. So I'm really happy with the way it looks. I'm really happy with the way that my quilt looks as I get the threads tucked in. It gives it a nice, neat, clean finish that I am looking forward to. I'm not 100% sure that I absolutely have to do this step because I typically lock my seams in at first and then I backstitch at the end of my quilting. But I'm just a little bit paranoid that something could happen and the threads could come out. So I like to tuck them in. If you have any questions about what you've seen in this video, leave them in the comments below. Thumbs up this video, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!